So I got this on. That was not fun. So the T-nut bolt should go on first, then the micro switch. Micro switch is a little fiddly. Oh, and I haven't even tightened it down. Okay, so let me try to tighten this down, because I assume I won't be able to reach the nuts here for adjustment once it's installed. So that's tight now. I don't know if I'll be able to work this screw very well. And if you look, these two T-nuts here, they are like right next to each other. They don't really want to like sit together. I don't know if they're going to rotate properly into the groove. And this is quite a heavy assembly to be only held by a very thin section of acrylic, but you know, we're building it the way they show and then deal with it after. So here we go. I'm going to try to slide this in. Yeah, I didn't think this was going to be easy. Oh. Okay, those two are in. Gotta move the wires out of the way here. It looks like it's just cinches up like this. Then I have to get in there with a screwdriver. The T-nut did not spin. I'm gonna try the other one. I feel like I'm gonna damage the wire here. Oh, see, the T-nut didn't spin. I'm wondering if it's because its partner here is kind of in the way. And I feel like I'm going to disconnect this wire every time I play with it. See if I can spin them sideways and install them like that. I don't like sliding like that though. Either that or the screw isn't long enough. Because although the acrylic is thin, it's thicker than the other brackets. Come on. So let's see if that works. I'm going to move this wire out of the way. That is on there. That is on there and it looks properly adjusted. So there. And I can still get at the Allen screws here to adjust for where the belt's going to go, but it looks about right. Might need to come out a bit. Maybe I'll just adjust that now so I don't have to worry about it anymore. It seems like you can get a little bit of extra tension on the belt if you need to, simply by pulling this assembly out this way. Let's see here. Get to the other one too. Okay, I'm going to try to line myself up so I can see properly. Just about like that. I can readjust this tracking once the belt's on, but I want to get in the right ballpark. Okay, so that's on. Now we got a bundle of wires to deal with, but I guess I can use a rubber band on these to hold them together and move on to the next step. So let's do that now. Well, it seems the next step is to install the timing belt. This seems a little tricky, but I don't think it'll be that bad. So both timing belts are the same length, and you see these cutouts here. I don't know if you can actually see that. There we go. See that cutout here? So it looks like you thread the belt through here and slide it there, and they want you to secure it with a zip tie, but it's kind of not intuitive. So let's see. First of all, you want the teeth to be down. Okay, and I'll slide it up through here like this. Okay, they seem to give you way too much timing belt, so that's a good thing, I guess. So there we go, it's all the way in. and you'll see there it just lays flat in the extrusion. And they want you to put a zip tie, so in the picture it's like sticking straight up, and you put a zip tie here, I guess, so it doesn't slide through. But I've seen other 3D printers where they're zip tied together, like over here, like that, and I think that's how I'm going to install mine. I can always cut these zip ties and replace them if I did it wrong. But again, they seem to give me a lot of timing belt. This is kind of cheap timing belt. They're all GT2 in these kits. That's the standard. But this one is just rubber. I have some that for the custom 3D printer kit, which is actually reinforced with metal bands. So these are not metal, these are just rubber. So hopefully it'll be okay. Now run it over the idler pulley, which you probably can't see, but this thing is pretty big. And then you just feed it through, and it should come out at the other end, just under here. Should start sticking out right beside that the stepper motor. Now, if it will, when it should, two different things. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there it goes. So here it is. You can see the more I tug, the more the platform wants to go that way, like this. And so I'm going to take this, run it under here, and I did leave some slack here on this side. See, there's some spare belt. I'm going to leave some on this side too, but not everything that's left, because that's a lot. Okay, I'm going to take up as much tension as I can, and then just slide this over like that. Take up the rest of the tension. There we go. And run my cable tie underneath here. This is actually very tight. I don't know if my cable tie will fit. I assume the rest of the tension is done by just pulling taut on the mechanisms, like either moving the motor more this way or the idler more that way. Let's see here. Gotta be careful, these are just acrylic pieces, like this piece here is acrylic. Definitely don't want to damage it. It sure doesn't seem like it'll skip a tooth. Let me trim this. I'll leave some slack, but not a lot. Oh, and actually, I lied. There is steel banding in here, so this is better quality timing belt than I assumed. So the only thing I don't like is it doesn't exactly run smoothly. You can hear the belt kind of rubbing on the extrusions. Not a big fan of that. I don't know if it's because my washers here aren't aligned properly. Maybe I'll play with that before the next step, but for now, I think that's it for this step. So just before we move on, this direction here was very noisy. It was like a whirring noise, and it was the teeth of the timing belt catching on the tensioner assembly and on the rail here. So what I had done was right here on this tensioner, I put a washer in between this big washer and the small one. So don't know if you can see that between this washer here on the outside and the small one. So now there's basically it's bolt, mount, nut, which does nothing, it's just a spacer, big washer, small washer, bearing, small washer, big washer, and the nut that tightens it down. I also tensioned the belt. I pushed the tensioner this way, outwards, and tightened it down. I also leaned it downwards, like towards the table, and that seemed to have got rid of most of the noise. It's not all gone. I think it's going to take some wear before this actually gets done perfectly. Also, I got really frustrated and I added some nuts, some washers on these. I had some washers kicking around. I used those. I was getting frustrated because this member here was loosening over time. That's no good. This is no excuse. They should include washers because they know that the quality control of these cast pieces are no good. I will probably replace these pieces, all of them on this entire machine, with 3D printed version of these pieces with much tighter holes, because this is just unacceptable. It's like, that's ridiculous. There's a few cents worth of washers could have solved that, but I think I'm going to do the 3D printed pieces just so they can be much tighter. I'll probably use longer bolts so they'll be a little bit thicker. I don't know, something like that. Either that or I'll just go get more washers or some. I don't know. I'm pretty frustrated about that. That's not very good. So these two here, one on each end, they've been removed, put washers on, and reinstalled. Now it goes pretty smooth, and the micro switch here works. It touches the wheel, which is kind of odd for it to touch the wheel. I don't know why they wouldn't have this set up so that it would touch the table. I have a little insert coming down or anything, but whatever. We are installing this as the instructions say, minus these two washers, and we will go from there. So let's go on to the next step now. Alright, for step 9, we're supposed to assemble the left side Z carriage, and this has the most pieces. It's got the bracket, it's got 2 sliding plates, it's got a brass nut. It has our first 3D printed part that's included in the kit. It's one of 2 3D printed parts, and they both have different qualities. They both seem to be printed on different machines. It's obvious this side was flat, because you can tell this side is completely flat, mirror finish. These sides aren't too bad. The top isn't bad. They designed this really narrow though, but this piece is strong. I really don't know what material this is in. I'm guessing it's ABS. I have PLA Plus for this machine, so hopefully it's that good. 3 wheels, 6 spacers, 3 M5 nuts, bolts with nuts, 6 M4 by 16. Is that it? No, M4 by 12 with their nuts, and 2 M3 by 16 with their nuts. So it says first to install the sliding bracket. It seems to be installed this way. Also looks like it lines up with these holes. So let's put them in. What did it say? 6. Let's see. They want the bracket to be installed with 2. Okay. And I guess the this bracket will be installed onto the other one with 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So those 4 are on. Whoops. Didn't do a particularly good job there. That's okay. Although this is fun building, I will be happy when it's done and I can start printing. A little worried that these carriages are made of acrylic, where these and it's carrying these really heavy stepper motors. Like, even this metal bracket is quite hefty. But, you know, I'm going to build it as intended. Oh, that doesn't fit. Okay. Well, I can tighten them pretty tight with just holding them, so that's not too bad. Not much adjustability in here either, because the slots are kind of maxed out. I'll go and tighten those a little bit tighter off camera, but not too tight. I don't want to break the acrylic. You can see the bolts are at kind of the end of the slots there. Okay, so that shows me installed like this. Now they want me to take this piece and install it here. It looks like it's going in the middle. Okay, but first I have to install the brass nut, sort of like that. This one has a lot of adjustment. It's a oval hole. So it looks like they got the bolts through this way. And then the nuts. But see here, I don't understand. These slots are so thin. There's no room for a washer, really. I don't know if I agree with that design choice. But it's not like I really have a choice, do I? Kind of stuck. I'm going to hold that like that. I'm going to tighten this guy. I'm kind of stuck doing it the way they designed. No such problems will be had when I design my own. And it's not that I won't have any issues, is that I'll be able to modify the design to suit my needs or to counter any issues that arise. I don't know how this is supposed to be here though, because it seems like if I leave it loose I won't be able to tighten it, although the nuts are butted up against this brass nut. Maybe I'll leave them loose. Doesn't say, it says secure, but and there's some adjustment on this one too, up and down. And looks like the bolts run through this way. Hopefully these are long enough, because those are thick parts. They are not. Brass nut L holder. I'm just reading the instructions here. Holder L. Secure the holder with one sliding plate using two pieces M4x12 screws and nuts. Unless the nuts fit just in there. Nope. So that is a design problem. Oh, unless I mounted it wrong. Maybe I have. Yep, I did. Okay, my mistake. So the nuts fit into here, into these sliding slots here. I did do it wrong. Okay. I am more than happy to be wrong rather than find a situation where I can't complete the build. So they should fit snugly into the groove there, but it's just a matter of getting it there. Okay, and then we're going to put, it's hard to kind of orient it the way they want me to orient it. Hopefully that fits. It looks like it will, but just, yeah, there we go. Okay, so it was my mistake this whole time. Completely fine. It happens. If it hasn't happened to you yet, well, you must be a teenager. Alright. Let's do this. Not sure how to adjust this, so I will leave them loose. They seem to be able to be tightened blindly. Although it doesn't seem Doesn't seem very easy to adjust because these will actually be on the inside. So I need to make a sort of decision. I think I'll slide them all the way down. And if I need to adjust them up, well, I'll adjust them up after. There we go. I'm really liking this preview into the possibilities of 3D printing. It seems tight. Okay, so now we have these two pieces like this. Now we need to mount our wheels. So I'll take 3 of these bolts, M5 bolts. I think I knocked off the spacer. We'll see. Looks like it. Then I put spacers, 1, 2, and 3. Then I put the wheels. Oh yeah, they have a washer in the center that isn't necessarily aligned. I'm going to try to align it with my tweezers. One. That knocked it into alignment. That's good. 2, 3. Put the 3 spacers. Let me just grab the one that fell. Actually, I'll grab the one that fell after. I'll just grab a new one. Although it might be gone forever, we will see. Okay, and then they want me to mate this up like this. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, install these nuts. Look at the quality control. I don't know if you can tell how offset that nut is. The hole is way off to one side. Okay, and I'll give these a tighten. This is all acrylic, so you got to be careful not to over tighten these. Give it a nice snug fit, not too tight. 2 and 3. Make sure all the wheels still spin. They do. And that's our completed piece for this step. I think I want to secure this a bit more. Just put them so just so it doesn't shake around and I lose pieces. Okay, so let's go on to the next step.